We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Ukraine strikes Russia, Iranian protests, Real ID delayed, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Ukrainian drones struck two Russian air bases hundreds of miles inside the country, the Kremlin said on Monday. Russia's defense ministry said 3 of its service members were killed in a strike at a base in Ryazan, southeast of Moscow. The other facility, the Engels 2 Air Base near the southwestern city of Saratov, houses Russian strategic bombers and has served as a launch point for attacks on Ukraine's power grid. Ukraine didn't confirm it was responsible, but an advisor to Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky tweeted, "If something is launched into other countries' airspace, sooner or later, unknown flying objects will return to departure point." Shortly after the attacks, Russia launched more airstrikes into Ukraine. Iranian protesters launched 3 days of nationwide strikes on Monday, ratcheting up pressure on the government even after a senior official said the country's feared morality police had been shut down. This has since been shown to be false. The morality police's activities sparked months of protests after some of its agents detained 22-year-old Mahsa Amini for allegedly improper attire, and she died in police custody. Activists dismissed suggestions that the government was dismantling the police unit for good and called for escalating the protests. At least 470 people have been killed and about 18,000 arrested in a crackdown by security forces since the anti-government demonstrations began. As stated earlier, it has been shown that the morality police have not been disbanded and that the Iranian government intends to continue its efforts. The Department of Homeland Security announced that it was delaying a requirement for U.S. air travelers to obtain a Real ID driver's license or identification card, pushing the deadline back 2 years to begin May 7, 2025. Before the announcement, the rule was set to take effect in May 2023. Postponing enforcement will give state motor vehicle departments more time to distribute the identification cards before travelers will have to present them to board domestic flights. The law requiring the cards was passed after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks and was initially set to take effect in 2008. Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas promised that DHS would continue to ensure that the American public can travel safely in the meantime. A U.S. Secret Service investigation concluded that hackers linked to the Chinese government stole at least $20 million in COVID-19 relief benefits from the United States, NBC News reported on Monday. This marks the first case of pandemic fraud that has been tied to state-sponsored foreign cybercriminals. The Secret Service said a Chinyu-based hacking group called APT41 was behind the theft. It allegedly stole numerous funds from Small Business Administration loans and unemployment insurance funds. While the Secret Service was able to verify the fraud occurring in at least a dozen states, agency officials have said that hacking by APT41 was likely on a much larger scale. On a sadder note, Kirstie Alley, who starred in Cheers, Veronica's Closet, Look Who's Talking, and Drop Dead Gorgeous, passed away Monday of cancer, according to her children. She was 71 years old. Alley joined Cheers portraying bar manager Rebecca Howe in 1987 at the height of the NBC's sitcom's popularity. She stayed through the final episode in 1993, winning an Emmy for Best Lead Actress in a Comedy Series in 1991. She won a second Emmy for Best Lead Actress in a miniseries 2 years later for the title role in the CBS TV movie David's Mother. As iconic as she was on screen, she was even more amazing mother and grandmother, her children said in a statement. That's The Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.